Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows of world football this weekend. Christopher Hamill is back to my right. Hamster, who are we starting with, my good man?
We are starting with Manchester City. This was suggested by literally everyone on my Twitter feed. So we'll delve straight in with the citizens. They secured a vital victory at Chelsea, making it 8 wins on the bounce in all competitions. Also Guardiola's first ever victory over the Blues as Manchester City manager, with his previous record standing at 4 draws and 3 losses. And City were absolutely dominant, weren't they? Yeah. Rampant, looked like the home side, 62% possession, 17 shots to Chelsea's 4. Yeah. 4, a paltry 4, and 6 on target to Chelsea's 2. Not good reading for Conte's men. De Bruyne, who I said on Sunday Vibes was probably the best player in the Premier League, coming to the fore. He was the man of the match. He created more chances, 6, than the entire Chelsea team.
Incredible performance. He was unplayable.
And what about that finish?
Yeah, I mean, he was unplayable though. Even Conte came out and said it.
He finessed the out of it. But yeah, his winner was also the his fourth consecutive goal from outside of the box, and 9 of his last 11 in total have come from 18 yards or further.
Impressive.
So nothing but lasers from KDB. City's defence has also clearly improved. 4 consecutive clean sheets in the league, not something we associate with them, particularly towards the tail end of last season. It's their best record since September 2015, and it's that auxiliary left back who impressed.
Fabian Delph, what a performance and what a tactical masterclass from Pep Guardiola. Fabian Delph often pushing into midfield and replacing Benjamin Mendy absolutely brilliantly. 91% pass completion, 5 tackles, 3 interceptions. Not quite a man of the match because Kevin De Bruyne was on the pitch, but an incredible performance from a man you wouldn't associate with left back. If you actually think about it, Man City have got Delph at left back, Man United have got Ashley Young at left back. Nobody would have ever said that was going to happen.
Do you know what? Both consummate professionals go about the day-to-day without complaining, even though they're not getting the minutes. Obviously train very hard, so fair play to the pair of them.
Yeah, 100%. John Stones, I also thought was very, very impressive. 80 passes, 98% of them completed, 3 aerial duels, 5 clearances, 4 tackles and interceptions. Great performance from the Englishman at the back with Nicolas Otamendi. But Chelsea struggling a little bit in front of goal, especially I thought when Morata got hauled off and he brought on Willian instead of Michy Batshuayi. They've now failed to score in consecutive home games for the first time since 2012, mate.
Absolutely killed any hopes I harboured for fantasy football this week.
Yeah,
Alvaro subbing himself off. Tragic scenes.
Not great for you at all. They've already dropped 8 points at home this season. They only dropped 6 in the whole of last season. So Conte's men struggling at the bridge somewhat. They're now 6 points off Man City in 4th place. And I think the goal difference between the two teams is about 14 in difference. City's is now plus 20 already.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Chelsea could probably make up for that away from home, though, because they didn't have the greatest start last season either, did they?
No, they didn't. They picked up big momentum. I think they went 15 or 16 games unbeaten as well, didn't they? And their next 2 games, Crystal Palace away, they should be spanking Roy Hodgson's men. They were rubbish on the weekend. We're going to talk about them a little bit later. And then they've got Watford at home, who are actually quite tough opposition. But what did you guys... Yeah, exactly. But what did you guys make of the result? What did you think of Kevin De Bruyne's performance? Let us know in the comments below.
Our first loser was sent in to us by @beast-like Kayam, and he's been particularly damning of one Dutchman this week. Who is it?
It's Ronald Koeman, who is apparently hanging by a thread. He's already been given the death sentence by the board. They've come out and publicly backed him, which means he's probably got about 3 weeks left in the job. And he's back at it, isn't he? Losing at home to Burnley, only Burnley's 3rd away win in the last 22 games. Although they have been impressive this season, they've taken points off Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, and now Everton. In fact, they've taken more points in 4 Premier League away games this season than in the whole of 2016-17. So big up Sean Dyche.
Mind boggles. How?
Nobody knows. Everton, on the other hand, have lost as many Premier League games at Goodison Park this season as they did in the entirety of last season. So Ronald Koeman has started the season very, very poorly, and his team selection was odd. He benched Rooney for this one. He started Niasse, who was on good form over the last couple of games, but Oumar Niasse has just 1 goal in 15 Premier League starts. I mean, it kind of sums up how poor Everton's transfer window was, doesn't it, when you're having to play a player that you've recalled from loan at Hull. He's an absolute mess. You spent £200 million in the summer. Ronald Koeman, not good at all. And it's got summed up by the fact they couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo in this game. 23 shots on goal, just 3 on target. What the hell is Gylfi Sigurdsson doing? He's an absolute mess at the moment, by the way. 15 shots from outside the box from Everton. Idrissa Gueye hit 4. And this is a man who never shoots, Idrissa Gueye.
He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, could he?
It's an absolute mess from Everton. Ronald Koeman is in big, big trouble. But Burnley, hats off, because another great performance.
Oh man, it pains me to admit this, but they were actually outstanding.
Yes.
Especially as a defensive unit yesterday. And put together an attacking move, which actually Pep Guardiola would have been proud of, wouldn't he?
It's awesome.
For that Jeff Hendricks goal, but yeah. There were 24 passes in the build-up to Burnley's opener.
Sexy football.
The second most behind Fabian Delph versus Crystal Palace. That absolute howitzer from outside the box that he curled into the top right where there was 31. Benjamin Mee was the standout player. 10 aerial duels won, 2 tackles and 18 clearances. And him and Tarkowski are putting up quite the partnership, aren't they?
18 clearances.
2 mean-looking back. Nick Pope also gets his second clean sheet in a row. And with West Ham next, Dyche must be thinking, I'm on easy street.
I know.
But yeah, for Everton though, it must be panic station, sitting in 16th, lost 3 out of their last 4, scoring just twice in those fixtures. As Joe said, is Koeman a dead man walking?
Yes.
150 million spent in the summer. Can't even beat Apoel something or other. Can't even pronounce the second name. As I said on Twitter, sounds like a dodgy, burrito. A Mexican food truck.
Absolutely
getting spanked by Atlanta. Will he last until Christmas? Let us know on Instagram.
Gone by Halloween. Our next winner is my beloved Manchester United. It comes from Mr. Marcus GG on Twitter. Hamster, what happened on the weekend?
Well, you smashed Palace 4-0. Who
Shock.
would have thought it, to maintain that 100% home record in the league? It's Manchester United's 4th 4-0 victory in the league, and they've scored 4 in 4 of their last 5 games in all competitions.
Boring
goals,
Mourinho, eh?
Goals,
Boring,
all the goals,
boring
my
Mourinho.
friend. But yeah, you've also kept 5 consecutive Premier League clean sheets at home for the first time since 2010.
Oof.
So watertight at the back, firing on all cylinders up front, and it's a good job too because Manchester City look the business. I think it's theirs to lose. But anyway, moving on. Mata marks his 200th Premier League game for Manchester United with a goal. What a servant! Fellaini got a brace for the first time in his Manchester United
He was
career.
magnificent.
He's now got 4 goals, which I believe is more league goals than the likes of Antoine Griezmann this season.
He was absolutely magnificent against Palace.
Didn't watch the game, but I can imagine that being a game he fits in perfectly well for. Absolute destroyer. He actually has equalled his total already for 16-17 and 15-16 combined, I believe. And he managed, as you said, good on the day, 52 passes with a 90% completion rate, 3 aerial duels and 3 interceptions. That's what you put him in there to muddy up the midfield. Stop Crystal Palace with that, lovely build-up play that they've become so well known for. And it also helps when your wide men are firing, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, when you've got Rashford and Martial as interchangeable wingers and Lukaku up front, you are going to score goals. And Rashford was incredible in this game. He had Joel Ward on toast. He was buttering him up. That first goal in the 2nd minute, dearie me, turned him inside out, then chucked him away. Cuts it back to Mata, lovely little finish. 2 minutes in, at that stage you're thinking this is going to be 9 or 10. Man United took their foot off the gas a little bit, but he did get 2 assists nevertheless, 7 chances created, 3 take-ons, 2 shots. He's been in scintillating form. He's now been involved in 9 goals in his last 10 appearances. That's 5 goals, 4 assists. And another man who just can't stop scoring. Romelu Lukaku, who's now got 7 in his first 7 league appearances for Manchester United, equaling Andy Cole's record. He'll be hoping to go on and get 8 in 8. Yes, he has been outstanding. He's been on unbelievable form. I actually think he's scored in about 12 consecutive games, if you didn't include the Leicester one. He missed that penalty. No, that was Lukaku. He missed the penalty against Leicester, of course, but if that had gone in, he would have scored in about 12 consecutive games, I think. Palace, though, what can you say about them? Awful on the day, just dreadful. Offer nothing going forward, horrible at the back, nothing going on in midfield. I think they failed to score in 7 consecutive league games now, breaking a record that stood for about 130 years. They could seriously challenge Derby County for the lowest points total in Premier League history here.
I saw Pods putting in the boot saying they were better last week under the ball after he was slacking off the ball.
Honestly,
in the preceding week.
there was moments where Bakary Sakho was playing as the out-and-out striker. I think he scored 1 goal in his last 2.5 years, and he was playing as an out-and-out striker, and he was so wide they had no one in the box.
So wide, you can't.
There's just no way they're going to score any goals with Bakary Sakho up top. There's talk they're going to bring in Carlton Cole. He was on goals on Sunday yesterday.
You legend.
Big Benteke, the record signing, of course, was out as well until about Christmas sort of time.
Yeah.
They are in big trouble. They also became only the 2nd team to lose the opening 7 games in the Premier League. I don't know how they're going to stay up in this form. Roy Hodgson's got Chelsea next as well. I can only see it getting worse at this stage. They're already 5 points off safety.
And they travel to Newcastle after that, which is not an easy way.
They've got a goal difference of -17, and we're in October.
They're like the reverse City.
Honestly, they're in such bad form. But how do they go about avoiding the drop? If you know of a way, please get in touch with Roy Hodgson, because he's currently drowning. He really is struggling.
Now, our next losers are not Partick Thistle, like Lewis Haggett suggested, because that's just stupid. So we're going for Swansea. Joe, what happened to the Swans?
Well, they lost 1-0 to West Ham with a last-minute goal. That's actually their first away defeat, and it sends them into the bottom 3. Paul Clement, despite having what seemed like a fairly decent window, will not be happy at all. That's the first goal they've conceded away from home, though, in 500 minutes, which is really good before this. It was actually a really tight game, and he produced 15 shots with a combined 5 on target. So not 2 pretty poor teams, you'd say.
Yeah.
Battling out in a pretty poor game. Although the Swans did put in a solid performance. They dominated the ball, as you expect them to do under Clement, 57% possession, but yet again, really struggled to create any sort of chances.
Yeah.
They had Tammy Abraham up front, they had Wilfred Boney up front, they had Jordan Ayew drifting in behind, but they managed just 1 shot on target, those combined 3. They're really struggling now. Martin Olsen had the most shots for the Swans, that was 2.
I'm not surprised. He's one of their few players who really hogs that touchline.
Yeah.
So he gets up and down. He's a decent little left back, is Olsen.
Yeah.
But they didn't replace any wide talent that left the club this summer.
Yeah, I'm not too impressed with them so far. Wilfred Boney really needs to start finding his feet. He was obviously very prolific in his first spell there. I think he got about 34, 35 goals in just 70 games, but is yet to score or get an assist so far this season. They need him to find his feet and find his feet quickly, because the longer they stay in that bottom 3, the harder it is to get out around Christmas because of the volume of fixtures. So Paul Clement's got to turn something around, hasn't he?
Yes, and how is this for little nuggets of information, my ginger compadre? 4 of the last 10 league games where the winning goal has been scored in the 90th minute or later has now come against Swansea. So, are they horrifically unlucky, or are they switching off?
Feels like
the
they're switching off,
dying
doesn't it?
embers of the game? Conversely, Super Slav was extremely lucky on the other side, with the Hammers' last-minute goal coming from Diafre Sakho, who scored his first league goal since November last year. Obviously got 2 in the League Cup, didn't he?
Yeah.
But it's been a long time coming for old Diafra, and the atmosphere was tense at the London Stadium. The home fans singing, "You're getting sacked in the morning," very creative from them.
Shock.
You know, actually the majority of West Ham fans are pretty disgruntled with the whole situation, aren't they?
Well, actually,
despite him arresting that early season slump in the last few weeks.
Yeah, well, I actually saw a photo on Twitter of some bloke with Carlo Ancelotti, and he tweeted it's like a West Ham fan page, and they'd all been like, "Oh, really? Oh my God, really?" And he was just like, "No, he's at an
Shocked
airport."
West Ham are putting the hats.
Obviously, you're not going to get
Naming the
Carlo.
hats for Carlo, yeah. Well, apparently they went after Tuchel as well, but that's neither here nor there. But it was Bilic's tactics that made the difference. He brought on Masuaku and Sacco, who eventually clinched the points, the valuable points for their side. So he lives to fight another day. But as I said, their league form is slowly improving. They've now kept 3 clean sheets in their last 4 games after going without any in their previous 5. But will Slavan Bilic last? Should we do a little poll? Who will go first, Koeman or Bilic?
Koeman.
Click.
Our last winners are Arsenal, Christopher. How on earth have they snuck into this script? How?
Well, despite no one asking for them on Twitter, Olivia, our latest recruit, is an Arsenal fan, and she's inexplicably put them in there, probably because it was Wenger's, 21st anniversary?
Biased, Olivia.
She's sentimental like that. But they're now on equal points with top 4 contenders Chelsea after a confident 2-0 win over Brighton to celebrate Arsene Wenger's 21st anniversary at Arsenal. It's even in there. But Arsenal were in control of the game from the get-go, and it was their 4th win of the season, having 25 attempts at goal compared to Brighton's paltry 9. But to be expected, because Brighton have created few and far between this season, whereas Arsenal tend to be very good against teams in the lower half of the Premier League. Now, despite a sluggish start to the season, Sanchez eventually weighed in with something substantial, creating twice as many chances in this game, that's 6, than any of his teammates, and he had double the amount of shots than anyone on the pitch with 8. The greedy bastard.
Although he got hammered by George Wright on Twitter. George Wright was just battering him on Twitter.
Bring up a tweet, editor. Probably Zach, bring up a tweet. And did you see that outrageous little back heel though for Iwobi?
Yeah, I did.
It was good. Element of guesswork, but we'll get him off. And the Chilean also topped the charts with dribbles on the day as well with 4. So one of his better games so far this season. But the first goal came from an unlikely source and someone who has actually made a very good start to the season, Nacho Monreal, who scored his first league goal since 2013, 1,660
Big up, Nacho.
days ago. That was also the last time Zach got laid.
Oh!
And the Spaniard will be doubly as happy, won't they, as Arsenal managed to clinch another clean sheet. That's actually their 4th consecutive clean sheet in the league, added a bit of steel to that flair.
But it's not a big surprise. Brighton really struggling so far this season. Of course, they've never won a game at Arsenal, which is fairly unsurprising because of the calibre of the Gooners. But they've scored just 1 away goal so far this season. That will be a big concern for Chris Hughton, and they managed just 1 shot on target at the Emirates in this game. Not really acceptable. They're not seeing enough of the ball. Just 35% possession in this game, and their record signing, Jose Izquierdo, can't pronounce his name very well.
Almost.
He had double the amount of shots of any Brighton player, and that was just 2.
Okay.
But he only had 30 touches in, equally not as influential as you would like from a player who cost around £15 million and is one of their brightest hopes of staying up this season. They actually look a lot more comfortable when the likes of Glenn Murray is on the pitch, when Anthony Knockaert is on the pitch, and even then they're still struggling. For me, Brighton are big favourites to go down this season. They're going to have to change something around very radically, because at the start of the season we predicted it, and we're still predicting it now.
Getting there, aren't we, guys? On to our final losers, and this comes courtesy of Scott Young, who actually suggested Tottenham as our winners, and we've got them in there. We've shoehorned them in the script by putting Huddersfield as our losers. Smart, just for you, Scotty boy. What happened?
Yeah, 4-0 to Tottenham Hotspur at the Kirklees Stadium, which I didn't even realise was a stadium name, but this was a rude awakening for Huddersfield. Their first game against top 6 opposition Tottenham, 70% possession, 14 shots, 9 on target, 7 corners. Tottenham were exceptional in this game. I watched it and they played some beautiful football at times. Huddersfield actually conceded more goals in this game than in their previous 6 Premier League matches combined.
Which bodes pretty well.
It does bode pretty well, although they're not in the best form. They're now winless in their last 6 games in all competitions. 3 losses, 3 draws. They somehow need to find a victory. Although the 3 draws will be comforting nevertheless. They're struggling to score goals. That's the one big issue. After Steve Mounier started the season with that double, they have only scored 1 goal since that moment, which is a problem for Huddersfield.
Yeah, they played that absolute brick shit house up front, didn't they?
Yeah,
What's his name?
they've only scored 5 goals this season.
Yeah.
The entirety of the
I
campaign.
think Mounier's coming back from injury, is he not? A little niggle.
Yeah, they need to get him back quickly because 5 goals so far this season is not really acceptable. They are still 11th. They've got 9 points, which is a good total at this stage for a promoted team. So it's not time to panic just yet. But when you're playing teams like Tottenham, or as Pep Guardiola described them, the Harry Kane team, you can see why they're going to have issues.
Is the Kirklees Stadium still standing, mate, after the Hurricane put in another devastating display? Now, Spurs and Kane love playing away from home, don't they? Spurs have now scored 25 goals in their last 6 away games.
That's incredible form.
Disgusting.
That's awesome.
Kane has actually scored 16 of those in his last 7 away games.
16 is 7. That's literally ridiculous.
I have no words. It's
over 2 a
dumbfounding.
game.
The guy was Rick-rolling people for fun in this game.
It's ridiculous
But
now.
he becomes only the 2nd Premier League player ever to score 2+ goals in 3 consecutive away games too. So the fact they've not been great at home has been kind of substituted by this fiery away form. But yes, it's also Kane's best ever month as a professional footballer. 13 goals, that's Messi-esque.
That actually equals Messi's highest tally.
From the big man. Really?
Yeah, equals Messi and Ronaldo's tally for September.
Although Messi could break that this month as well.
Yeah.
He's had a quite frankly frivolous month. Yeah, he's now scored against 25 of the 26 teams he's faced in the Premier League, so the Hurricane is only picking up pace. Will he finish this league's top goal scorer? Let us know on Twitter.
So that's all we've got time for on today's episode of Winners and Losers. What are you talking about on Euro Roundup though, Hamster?
Don't know, but what do you think of my new sneaks? Rate them.
4 out of 10.
Durable. Lovely poo colour.
But yeah, if you want European football, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all the big boys, go over and check out Euro Roundup on EFD. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you later.